And we're live. Hello, everyone. Set up my desk. So, got a little bit better viewing area here. It was a process this weekend. That's what I did for my weekend. I sat here with my sister and we set this up. We started around 8 p.m. Friday and didn't finish up until like almost 5 a.m. Saturday. So it was a process, but it is done. Got some blisters on the hand to kind of prove it. But super excited about today's positive talk. If you guys haven't already followed Mark, you should. I did an interview with him on his not too long ago. So you all should also check that one out because that was a really fun one to do. So let's see if I can get Mark on and then we will go ahead and get started. It's crazy. Been busy. Hello. Whoa, my God.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? Sorry, I have got. How do I get? I don't know. What I've never done this on the other side. I don't know what to do. I'm nervous. It's crap.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, when I jumped on yours, it was very different because like you are in the bottom frame now instead of the top.
I don't know if I like being up there.
Oh, how are you doing
We
today?
won't go there right yet. How are you, mister?
I'm doing good. I saw that you had a live earlier today, so this is 2 lives in one day.
I know it's a busy day for me. I don't know what to do. I feel so, I'm ready for it though.
Awesome. Well, I will let you go ahead and introduce yourself for those that are over here that have not seen your videos yet. If you'd
Okay.
like.
Well, my name is Mark Currian. I own a magazine called Beverly Hills Lifestyle Magazine. And also during quarantine, I decided to start an Instagram live show just like this, where, it's just talking to my friends. It's talking to people that I love and that I feel like have something to say. And the best part about it is most of the people are like, I have nothing to say. And I'm like, oh, just wait. Because, I know them personally. So I get to really kind of pull out of them the things that I love most about them. So it's been fun. I really didn't I didn't think it would go much further than a week, and here we are a year and a half later still doing it.
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy thing, and I think that sometimes people need someone to kind of pull out their good qualities for them to realize that they exist because we live with them every day, and sometimes we forget that those are things that make us special and unique. And I've watched yours with so many different people, and of course I've been on there, and I think that you do an amazing job of celebrating people for their unique qualities that make them special for sure.
It's fun. Thank you for saying that because it's true, like you said, we live with ourselves every single day, right? Like we don't get to really and it's fun to just be a mirror for those people and show them the reflection that you see of them. And, a lot of times, people do leave the interview and they're like, wow, I didn't realize that was something you loved about me or that was even something anyone noticed.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's fun to celebrate people, right? Like, especially during a time when I think it's the opposite what we normally see.
Yeah.
It's fun. And like, I love that yours is positive talks. And I love how you just, I love that you kind of called me out. Let's be honest. And I said, come watch my interview. And you're like, no, it's not an interview. It's a conversation. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, there have definitely been people that have jumped on here and think that it's going to be like an interview type thing. And I'm like, I don't really like doing interviews. I like just having conversation. And like the whole point of like positive talk is to just show people that like conversation, it can go so much better if we just take the time to like get to know each other and ask better questions that are like pulling out the meaningful type of conversations that we all should be having. Just because, I mean, there's lots of conversations that never get had that I think that if more people had these types of conversations with the people that are around them and that they care about or that they follow on social media, they would realize that a lot of the things that they perceive about the person they're watching or following, they would realize that a lot of us are just people that have amazing stories to share. And like, I feel like yours is an amazing journey as well. And you announced that you're possibly writing a book soon that will
Yeah.
be coming out. And I think that that's an amazing journey because I think there needs to be more LGBT stories in general, but I feel like you also have a very unique story to tell as well.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, it's interesting because it actually you just saying an LGBT story, you know, for me, like obviously I'm gay. I'm gayer than Christmas. And I am totally okay with that. But sometimes I kind of forget that my story is an LGBT story, LGBTQ, um, and that it, you know, and that is a part of my story, but it's such like I'm so comfortable with it. I've been so blessed to be with a family that has loved me, you know, and has never said, "Oh, this is my gay son," or "This is," you know, like I've always just been their son, and that happens to be gay, and you know they celebrate that about me. So it's kind of fun also to be able to. I haven't told that my story because I always feel like, you know, I don't have the best coming out story. I didn't have like my mom, like, you're going to be smited by the Almighty God. You know, my mom was like, honey, you were born in a gay tree, fell out of that gay tree, hit every gay branch on the way down, landed on a man and did him. And I'm like, Mom, come on, like, be mean or like, you know, but no, like, and I think it's what I'm excited about is telling my story, not to celebrate me, to celebrate the other people in my life and how they made me being gay just such a normal thing.
Yeah. I for me, I always tell people like you don't have to have that like extraordinary, super crazy life to like write a book. Like LGBT stories need to inspire people from all walks of life, and every single person's life is a story worth telling. And I think that more stories where the gay isn't like that center focus and it doesn't have that trauma story attached to it, I think that that will also be really inspiring to people reading it. And I mean, you've done really cool things with your life as well. And I think that kind of showing people that someone in our community can do that is also very inspiring for a lot of people because I think that there's a lot of stereotypes of what career paths you're allowed to do as an LGBT person. And I think that anytime that you can kind of share an experience in your story and your career, like I think that more people are looking for that type of connection instead of just like the generic coming out story that seems to be the only story that people focus on when you hear LGBT or gay in the title of an author's book.
Yeah. And I think like you know, one of the things that I want to really portray in my book is that, and one of the reasons they asked me to write it is because I do know so many people and I have so many stories and so many of those stories have impacted me. And by no means am I like, you know, the poster child for writing a book. Like the fact that they asked me, they're insane. Um, but I'm excited to celebrate other stories as well that have impacted my life. And so it's going to kind of be like a, I don't want to say this, but it kind of is like a chicken soup for the soul meets, you know, some crazy ass book. I don't know.
I love it. I think that when it comes to you meeting lots of different people, I feel like you've connected a lot of people because you and I have both done a lot of lives with similar people. Like
Yeah.
there, there have been so many people that are on yours. I'm like, oh my God, I've got that guy scheduled for next week on mine. And a lot of people that I've been reaching out to here recently uh, had seen the one that you and I had done on yours, as well as they know you very well, and they're like, oh, I know Mark, that's awesome. So like, I think that more and more because one of the things that I really hope my positive talks do is inspire more people to do exactly what we're doing because it's only making the world a better place by creating that space for that type of conversation.
Well, and oh, I lost you. Are you there?
Yeah, I can still see you. Can you see me?
Okay. Yeah, there you are. The joys of technology. Um, and you know, one of the things that I've had to really kind of come to grips with, you know, in doing the show, because there are times where I will have, you know, thousands of people, and there are times where I'll have two people. And it's funny, the times that I've had the least amount of people are the times that I get the DMs of someone saying, holy crap, that changed my life. And I'm like, you know what? It's not about the amount of people, it's about who you're touching and how you are inspiring people to be better people, or to live a life that says, ha, I can do it, and that's something that's been really tough for me, because at first I was like, if I don't have thousands of people watching, then it's not worth it. And then I was like, no, that's not the case. I need to really just be in love with talking to people, and someone out there is going to be touched by this conversation.
Yeah, it's always worth it if it was just watched by one person who really got something from it. And like, that's kind of how I started with all my platforms. I was just like, you know what? If one person gets a message that was necessary for them to hear today, it was worth it. And there was definitely a time where I fell into numbers. Like after I started see them go really high, and then I started see them go low, my brain was like, oh no, I'm doing something wrong. But at the end of the day, like it really isn't about the numbers. It's about the stories being told, the connections being made. And I mean, I love seeing the community that's coming together around yours as well as mine. I
Yeah.
almost felt like I needed to start mine with like, good morning, good morning, good morning.
That is this. I don't know where that came from, but it literally is stuck. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I mean, but I get stopped. Like, I got stopped, which is crazy. I'm here in Dallas, and I got stopped by someone at Starbucks, and they're like, you're the good morning, good morning, good morning guy. And I was like, ah, that's me. And they're like, every morning I'm scrolling through Instagram and I hear that, and it just makes and I'm like, listen, if it makes your day, praise be the Lord. Like, I'm just so happy. But yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of has stuck. It's kind of my like Matthew McConaughey. All right, all right, all right.
Yes. I feel like you've got to get shirts now that say it. And for me, I think mine is, and we're live. Because
And we're
I've watched
live.
several of ours and I'm like, oh gosh, like maybe I need to start off with something a little different there.
Yeah, it's funny because I did mugs a little while ago that said good morning, good morning, good morning on them. And I donated the proceeds to Alzheimer's research. My father passed away with Alzheimer's, and so it's something that's obviously very near and dear to my heart. And we did really well. We were able to donate a good amount of money through them. So I'll probably do it again. I'll probably do some mugs. Maybe not t-shirts. I don't even own a t-shirt, so t-shirts are not a good thing for me.
I mean, I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but like I have a mug back here that I occasionally drink tea in. So I think that mugs are great. I would add it to my desk for sure.
Listen, I'll get you. I'll just send you one. How about that?
Perfect.
Okay, perfect.
So when it comes to like my positive talks, I know that for me, there have been tons and tons of very inspirational conversations between me and my friends. What would you say like is your most inspirational moment that you've had so far with your lives that you've done?
Ooh, that's a great question. There, oh, the blanket statement is I have so many. I can't um, but I think a couple that really stand out for me was, actually two that really stand out for me. One, was I interviewed Tommy and Dee Hilfiger. And, Tommy is an icon. I mean, everyone knows the name Tommy Hilfiger, right?
Yeah.
And, I was talking to him and kind of brought up the idea, like, Tommy, you're an icon. Like, why, what the hell? Like, what, how can you be who you are and be as humble as you are? Because he's one of the most humble, kind people. And he's like, he sat there and he like kind of looked at Dee and looked at me and like wasn't answering. And I was like, what the hell? This is awkward. And he's like, honestly, that's the first time I think I've ever heard someone say that. And I was like, what? And I was like, you're a liar. Like, I called him a liar. Like, you're lying. And he's so into his world. Like, he doesn't pay attention to what others are saying about him. And he kind of he gave me that statement of like, what other people think about you is none of your business. And my world kind of blew up. Because I, like, if someone looks at me cross, someone doesn't text me within 5 minutes, I'm like, they're dead. I don't know what's happening. No, they hate me. They hate me. These people, oh God. Oh my gosh, they hate me. Oh, and then they'll like text back. They're like, sorry, I was in the shower. I was like, okay, we're fine. But like, I just worry so much about what people think, what people are thinking about me. And here's this man, and he's done so well because he lives his life after what his family thinks, but not about what everyone thinks about him. Because at the end of the day, like, if you start worrying about what other people are thinking about you, there's going to be a lot of worry in your life. And I think for me, that was just this huge aha moment of like, holy crap. Like, that's how I need to live my life. And so I love getting kind of those tidbits of like information that literally just blow up your brain. It's like, you know, holy crap, that's something that I'm going to just live with for a very long time. And then someone said to me, you know, things don't get easier, you just get stronger. Oh, like it's those moments where you just go, I will remember that for the rest of my life. Like, I love that. Like, because we all wait for things to get easier. And it's like, no, they're not going to get easier, but you will get stronger. And I was like, that is so cool. Like, so it's moments like that that I just kind of go, this is worth doing it.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question? I don't know if it did.
Definitely. I think that they're like, I mean, this is my 122nd episode. And I mean, for me, like, there have been endless, just like my arm hairs will just stand up because of the things that people say on my lives. And I'm just like blown away by these amazing people that are just sitting right in front of me. And some of them, like before the lives, they talk about how nervous they are. They talk about how they don't know if they have enough to say to last an hour. And then they come onto the live and they just drop this like beautiful just wisdom that anyone watching would just like sit there and cry when they get like, I love the fact that so many people bring their most authentic self out. And I think that that's one of the things that I try to do with my platform is just show people my authentic side. And I always like, I tear up when I say it, but like there's nothing better than presenting your most authentic self and having people say they love you for it. Because at the end of the day, like a lot of us try to hide parts that we consider flaws or we don't think the world would accept us for. But when you finally let that like wall down and present yourself to the world, like there's no greater feeling than to have the people you really do love say that they love you back, and you know you've presented your flaw to them and they still love you for it.
Yep.
Like there's really no better feeling than that.
It's true. I mean, it's funny because I had this experience that was probably one of the most life-changing experiences for me. I had someone who I knew really well, and he said, hey, I wrote a book. And I said, oh, that's awesome. And he goes, it's a 7-book series. It's called the Serenium series. And you know, it's like a fantasy type book. It's like a Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings type book. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And he presents me with the first book. And he said, and this is the book. And I read it, and it's called Leprechauns, Unicorns, and Mark Currian. And I am the main character.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And I'm reading the book, and every flaw that I hated about myself was a thing that made me the superhero that I became in the book. And I was like, wait, what? Like, everything that I like, and he was able to take all these flaws that I literally was like, there's no way it should be celebrated, but he knew me better than anyone. And it made me into the hero. And I was like, and he didn't even realize it. He didn't realize what he was doing for me. But I became this main character in a book, which you can all go buy on Amazon.com. Curtis did that for you.
Love it.
But all my flaws are what made me a hero in this book. And I was like, wow, isn't that crazy and yet fascinating that the things that I hate most about myself, because I feel like they're just so stupid, so lame, so whatever, are the things that made me a hero in this book. And now it's like I celebrate those things. I'm like, I'm small. That makes me great. You know, like, because listen, being a part of the gay world, or even being more public, you know, on Instagram, you get some, I mean, I don't know, you probably don't because you're so fantastic, but I get some really shitty emails. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
And DMs and things that where people are just knocking you down. And I've had to learn to like, wow, like that says nothing about me. It says everything about that person that's saying it.
Yeah.
And but then to take those and turn it into, well, this is what's going to make Mark the hero in the book. I was like, son of a hell, like that is fantastic. Everyone should have a moment like that. Everyone should have a moment where they get to see their reflection and see all their flaws as the things that make them the hero in someone's life.
Yeah. I once I kind of learned to present what I thought were flaws to the world, like it became like this superpower that it was like it released me from all the chains that I was putting on myself. And I think
100%.
that's really important. And I'm right there with you when it comes to the negative things that people can send to you. I honestly feel like naming my lives positive talks almost put a target on my back for people who felt like I needed to be knocked down a notch.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been several times where right before my live, someone sends me a really hateful message. Like I had a friend that I thought was a really close friend really just tear into my soul when it came to my positive talks. Like this is something that I consider like a passion project.
Yeah.
I try to pour in so much love and kindness into these. And my friend twisted it into this dark, nasty thing. And it hurt. Like I was, and then I had to like 10 minutes later, click go live and sit here and be like, and we're live. We're going to have a good time. And like in the back of my head, I was just like, I really hope people don't think that I'm doing this for anything other than to spread kindness and happiness into the world. But like it did hurt. And there are definitely people out there that jump into my inbox and go into the comments underneath my pictures and just try to tear down what I'm trying to build. And I learned that it wasn't about me. Like, as long as I know that it's like coming from the right place, like it doesn't matter where other people think it's coming from. And I've built a really good community of people, yourself included, that like keep me going despite the negative that might come up and kind of try to ruin what I've been trying to build.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting because I think there's something to be said about, you know, one of the things that I think I've been able to do is I have a small group of people that literally they say something about what I'm doing, I will listen. I mean, not that I don't listen to people that, you know, but like at the end of the day, I will take the hate and the praise and all of that and absorb it with them. And it's a very small group of people. And I think we all need that. You know, everyone needs to pick 3, 4, 5 people that they literally will email and text and say, hey, I need you to be the +1 in my life, right? The one that I can go to and say, how much truth is there in what this person is saying?
Yeah.
Because I think that's what's kept me sane. I mean, literally, people will send me like screenshots of of things that people read on a, you know, blog or whatever. Like I got a screenshot the other day from someone that said, look what someone wrote about you. And they wrote, he looks like a demonic looking elf. And I was like, first of all, there's no reason for you to have sent me that screenshot. It does nothing for me. But second of all, it says nothing about my character or my heart. So, okay, if I look like a demonic looking elf to you, oh well. Like, yes, I recognize I'm no Brad Pitt. But at the same time, like, I also recognize that does not justify me feeling bad about myself because someone sees something on the external that they don't like.
Yeah.
F off. And you know, it's like, and sorry, I probably shouldn't talk so
You're fine.
Brene Brown. Do you know Brene Brown?
Yes.
Okay. one of the things that she says that I absolutely love, she says, unless you are in the ring, in the arena with me, bleeding and sweating and have tears down your face and mud coming down your face, unless you are in here with me, I don't care what you think.
Yeah.
And it's those people, it's the people that aren't in the ring with you, that are just behind their phone or their camera or their computer, that are saying those things. It's like, no. Unless you're in the ring with me, unless you're making, is like I said, bleeding and sweating and tearing, then I don't care what you have to say, to be honest.
That's
Say it. Go ahead, say it.
lesson to learn when you're putting yourself out there for the world, because when you put yourself online, you are putting yourself out there to be judged and critiqued by people that really have like no stage to stand on to judge you for the hard work that you're putting into anything that you're doing. And I think that that's like usually the advice I tell people when they're like, "Oh, I'm thinking about starting a platform." I'm like, "Be ready," because
girl, be ready.
But yeah, someone sent me a screenshot the other day of a like page created about me on Reddit, like where they took like a picture that I posted on Instagram and then screenshots of like my live videos, and like I'd be laughing and like one eye squinted or like my face looks distorted, and they would put the pictures side by side and they're like real life and then uh photoshopped, edited, and I was just like, wow, you really like you really took some great screenshots of me. But like it hurt that that was out there, but I also realized like this person spent a lot of time, because it was like at least 70 pictures side by side. So like that was a lot of effort. And but I think that I had to just let my friends know, like, I appreciate you wanting to let me know that something like like out there exists. But at this point, I've had enough of them where I've had to learn to desensitize myself
Yeah.
to it, because that energy doesn't serve my purpose and it doesn't serve the direction I'm trying to move things.
100%.
So I had to like adjust. And you know what? There are people, no one's perfect, no one's loved by everyone. I'm no exception to that. So I've learned that I just have to accept that some people just won't like me.
But now, on the flip side, just to encourage people that are listening, people need to realize that there is so much power in words. Like, you know, words, Maya Angelou said one time that words stick to the walls, they stick to the carpeting, they stick to the fabric of what we're wearing. And if people actually knew the power of the word, they'd be a lot more careful about what they're saying. They'd be a lot more careful about the words that they're putting out into the world. And, you know, not to get over spiritual, but like the Judaic Christian Bible, this thing that has been believed by trillions of people for, you know, however long, starts with, in the beginning there was darkness, and then there was the Word. And the Word is what created everything that we know today. Now, I'm not saying that you need to believe that, but to think that an entire religion was built believing that God's word, the same word that we have, is the word that created everything, that's powerful. And
Yeah.
we need to not have the audacity to believe that our words don't have effect on people, because they do.
Yeah. I mean, there has been trauma that I've had to heal from the words used against me as a child, the words used against me as I've grown into the person that I am. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I try to do positive talks, because I want to add some better things into the world, just to kind of like show people like not everyone's going to use their words to create a negative space. Like social media does not have a good name for itself when it comes to positivity and spreading good things. And I know that like types of things that sell are drama and bad things, but like also I think that people are looking for light and inspiration. And I think that for me personally, now that I'm a happy person, like I've found something that makes me happy. Like, I would never go online and post something hateful towards someone else. So
Never.
when I see those things, I look at those people and I wonder why they're hurting, because happy people don't post things like that. Hurt people do. And for me, that just says there's still a lot of work to be done. There's still more positive talks that need to continue, because there's so much hurt out there. And I think that things like this show people that, you know what, there are going to be people out there that try to knock you down, but you can't let it happen. Just keep going and pushing through.
Yeah. And I think that, listen, you're doing such a beautiful job of doing that. You're doing such a beautiful job of bringing people to a place of knowing, like, I know without a shadow of a doubt that I will log into Positive Talk and I will leave feeling better than I got in. Like, and that is such a beautiful thing. Imagine the change, because here's the other weird thing, is that positivity is not normally talked about. Like, if someone positively is impacted by your show, you're going to hear less about that and you're going to hear more about the negative, because the negative naysayers tend to be the loudest. And so you have no idea the fruits that are coming from your positive talks. And the reality is that I guarantee there's many more stories of how you have influenced people for the good. But unfortunately, we kind of hear just the negative stories for the bad. It's like, you go to a restaurant and you complain about your steak. You're going to get a free steak. You go to a restaurant and you say, oh my God, that steak was amazing. Thank the chef. What are you getting? Thank you. Right? Like, we are in a world that tends to not celebrate, but reward the negative. Yeah. And, the negative comments get more comments on them. Someone just writes, great job. It kind of just lies there. It just sits there. If someone says, you're a demonic looking elf, Mark Kurian, there's like page after page of people wanting to be a part of that. And it's weird. It's fucked up is what it is.
Yeah.
But I want you to know that you're doing an amazing job. You're doing an amazing job. These positive talks are fun. They're funny. They literally, I can't tell you how many things I've written down in my journal from watching them. I mean, you're doing an amazing job. And so, like, someone putting your side-by-side picture, like, F them and everything they stand for. Mm-hmm. And you know what? That karma is going to come back to that person in droves.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned, because what you're saying is so true. Like, you see comments on the internet and the ones that get the most attention are the negatives. And that's why I've taken the time with my platform to remove anything negative. I don't give it any attention. I won't respond to it either. And I celebrate and show appreciation for those that do take the time to write something kind under my stuff. And I've learned that when you put your energy into those people, it just grows and grows and grows. Whereas if I felt the need to take the time to try to get someone that hates me to see me in a different light, all that's doing is draining me of my energy and fueling their hatred, because I'm showing them that if you're mean and hateful to me, I'm going to give you attention. And I was just like, I'm done. I'm not giving you attention. Like, take it elsewhere. Like, there are people who have been trolling my page for like months and will create new like accounts just to continue to do it. And I'm just like, you're not getting my attention. Like, I see it, but I remove it as quickly as possible.
I'm sorry I've done that. It just, listen, it's just so fun. I
mean, you've created the accounts. You've got like 12 of them on your phone now.
14 accounts, and I'm just like... Well, and I think it's interesting because here we are, two guys that are doing pretty much the exact same thing, right? We go on Instagram Live. We interview people that are, we're both gay. You're gay, right?
Yes.
We're both Christians. We're both, like we're very, very similar. And I remember sometime a little while ago, someone had brought you up to me, and that's what made me want to interview you. And they're like, aren't you scared that he's going to, and I was like, no, like, no, I want him to be the biggest he possibly can be. I want him to be bigger than big. I want him to be huge. Because at the end of the day, then what that says to me is that positivity is working. And, you know, it's like, but I remember that person saying that. I was like, why would you even say that? What? Like, they're like, well, because he's your competition. I was like, no, he's my friend. Like,
Yeah.
that's not competition. That's like, we need to be encouraging and loving each other through this, right? Like, you know, there's this other guy that's doing it. His name's CJ. And I interviewed him, and he does just a bunch of like Bravo celebrities and stuff like that. And I just love his heart. He's 16 years old. He's doing what we're doing. But he was like, anyone that I've interviewed, if you want me to like send them a message, I'm like, that's what it's about. It's about encouraging each other, lifting each other up, and building a platform together that's about positivity, not these three siloed platforms, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I just, the person that brought you up, you know, I obviously then interviewed you, and they were like, why did you interview him? I was like, because why wouldn't I celebrate someone that's doing exactly what I want to do? Like,
Yeah.
are you insane? Like, and that person actually, unfortunately, is no longer in my life because I saw kind of the negativity they were bringing to me. Like, oh, you thought I was going to see this and be like, let's bring him down.
Yeah.
And instead I was like, no, I'm friends with him. And like I even said to this person, I was like, him and I DM all the time. Like, we'll see each other's stuff. We'll encourage each other. We'll say like, hey, great job. Well, you know, hey, how are you doing? Like, we'll talk about our lives. That's the way it should freaking be.
Yeah.
We are an example of amazingness. Let me tell you how humble we really are. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about like, for me personally, I think positivity is like the fight against like darkness. And
Yep.
if we all try to stand alone, like eventually we will be put out. Like
Yeah.
it's not easy doing what we do. Like, so it's so important to like surround yourself. And I too have been reaching out to a lot of other people where people are like, hey, this person's doing the same thing. Or if I see someone else interviewing with other people, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I would love to have that person as well. And like Clubhouse, I found so many amazing people on there. And
You really have. There was someone a couple weeks ago that I was like, wow, like I need to get on Clubhouse, but Clubhouse scares the crap out of me.
I mean, I think that there are just so many people. I, for the longest time before Clubhouse, felt like I was doing this by myself. Like I was fighting this battle against darkness and negativity by myself. Because I saw so many people who were just allowing it to just brew everywhere. Like they would share the negative stuff, they would comment on negative stuff. And for me, I was just like, wow, why is everyone doing this? Like, don't they see that like they're only giving darkness and negativity more power? And when I got on Clubhouse, like there were just so many little lights everywhere. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to connect with these people. We can fuel each other's fires because it's not about competition. Like we're building an army of positive fighters, and I think that that's important for people to realize. Like it's no one's competition. Like we're trying to build each other up and create a space online that people feel encouraged. And I for me personally, like I really enjoy watching yours because you have access to people that a lot of us only see in magazines or in photos, and you create a space for them to show that they're people. They're doing a lot of amazing things that none of us ever see because like we said earlier, positive doesn't get the attention. It's only the scandals that the tabloids write about. It's not all these beautiful things that these people are doing on the background after they're done with their TV show or after they're done like posting and doing stuff online. And I think that that's beautiful to celebrate because if we start showing the world that when you do great things, like you will be recognized for it, people will start to do more great things.
Right? Like that is, I love what you just said. Like once you start seeing that positivity will actually be celebrated, then more people will be positive. Well, and it's funny, like someone wrote to me a DM specifically about you, and they were like, you know, you guys like interview a lot of the same people and like, you know, whatever. And and I wrote back and I was like, what are you trying to say? Like, yeah, we interview a lot of the same people. Okay. And they're like, well, don't you hate that he's like poaching people? And I was like, I don't understand. And I like wrote back, I was like, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're trying to say. Like, I couldn't get into this person's brain.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, it looks like you're poaching people off of his stuff and he's poaching people. And I was like, no, we see good people and we want to celebrate them. What is wrong with you? Like, what are you trying to create here? Like, are you kidding me? And I was like, I just sat there and I was like, okay, like, I need to stop. Like, I will never win at this game because they're always going to be a lot dumber than me. Like, I'm not going to win at that game. And so I wrote back. I was like, thank you so much for your concern. I'll like,
I'll file that over here in my trash can. Thank you.
Well, and it was funny because it was right at the time when, who was it? Oh, it was Connor Gowland. And I was like, I want Connor to be interviewed by the world. I adore this man. He's truly one of my best friends. He's, him and I have, I've had some of the best moments with a friend with him. And I was like, what I wanted to say to this person was, fuck off, you mother, but what I said was, thank you so much. I'll think about it, squash it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think that seeing someone like Connor, who obviously he's got a large following and he gracefully continues to do exactly what he wants to do in life, despite any of the negativity that can be thrown his way. And I think that with that, there's lessons to be learned. And there's so many people who reach out and want to participate in positive talks with me. And there aren't qualities that I'm looking to promote on my page within some people, because some people don't get it. They don't understand the purpose of positive talks. They don't understand why these lives are celebrating certain people. And it's because there are people out there, and I talk to my friends all the time about all the things I have to put up with on a daily basis, but I'm doing it because there are certain things that are good that are coming out of the work that I do. And I saw someone like Connor, even when I was smaller, I would look at him and I just stereotyped him as a person. And then once I got to know him as a person, I was like, wow, he's a phenomenal person. He's great. No wonder lots of people love him.
Yeah.
Of course, that also attracts a lot of haters, but those types of people deserve to be celebrated. And I like kind of pulling the mask off and showing them, hey, yeah, you like all his pictures that he's posting, but how about the person that he is? He's a phenomenal person.
It's true. And, it's I don't know. I think when I have people that people assume they know everything about, and then you get to, again, be a mirror to showing the world who they are, behind the closed doors. It's one of the greatest feelings. It's just so fun to see some of these celebrities go, wow, you see that? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, oh my gosh, thank you. You're like, oh, no worries. No worries. You should be celebrated. You should be told that you're doing a great job, that there is some beautiful things about you, and I think you're doing a great job of that. So thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I think that when it comes to what you do, I don't think you realize the power that you have behind every interview that you do with people. The fact that you do have access to doing high-end celebrity people that everyone knows, and you still celebrate other people for all the things that they're doing. And it's not like you are sitting there celebrating the things that you can see on a surface level. You can tell that the people you do your lives with, you invest time in getting to know them and seeing them past an Instagram post. And I think that is something that more people need, because even when you and I did ours on your page, I was blown away with the emotions I was feeling, because it's still really intense to have someone see you in the work that you do and like applaud you for that, because there, as much as people think that we're celebrated, like a bunch of numbers don't mean as much as someone reaching out and saying something kind to you, and actually not you're sexy, you're this, like saying I see you, I see the work you do, I see your heart, I see the journey that you are going on with your faith and the relationships you built. All of that type of stuff is like the stuff that goes unseen by most. Like a lot of people don't look that deep into anyone else in
Yeah.
the world these days. And like when I see you doing those lives with people, like you dig into those parts and show people that they're being seen. And that's something that most people never like get seen for. And I think that that's the heartstring that you pull on every single person, because I'm sitting there like waiting for it. Because like in the beginning, you can kind of see that they're like, oh, this is another live I'm doing. But then you start like laying out the things that you see about them, and you instantly see them like they're like, I'm seen. Someone really sees me, and I think that that is a phenomenal thing that you do, because people don't do that anymore, and I think more people should, because the power of our words and actually seeing someone like that's a phenomenal thing to be able to do.
That means so much to me that you say that, because it really is the purpose, right? Like for me, it's not about the numbers. It's not about who's watching. It starts with wanting to celebrate the person. And then it's about who can watch this and be encouraged by it, right? But it's about like you're having, like it's all about conversation. Yes, I call it an interview. I know I'm never calling yours an interview ever again. But you know, it is all about wanting that person to just have 30 minutes of feeling loved and special. That's it. Like, and I end every single one of my shows telling the people, I say, you know, the way I end my show is by telling the person why I love them and why I had them on. And so you get to just sit back and absorb some love. And to see those people literally sit there and just like, at first it's really awkward. They're like,
Yes, it is.
because it's a lot easier to talk about hate and talk, you know, like for some reason I don't know why, but and so that's how I end my shows. And that's a gift that I love giving these people, is just 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes of just being flooded with love, just being showered with affirmations that have nothing to do with the way they look, have nothing to do with what they've done, but who they are and what they are doing to impact the world. And like, I've never during those moments said, oh, and by the way, you're just so gorgeous. I mean, you're so, you know, like, and even though most of them are like, and people fucking like rail me, like, why is everyone on your show so gorgeous? And I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, first of all, I wouldn't have an ugly person on my show because I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what an, like, no one is ugly. So take your little, like, you know, and it's like, are you kidding me? But all this to say is what you just said to me. Thank you. I absorbed that. I thank you so much for saying that, because it is probably the major reason I do what I do. So thank you. Thank you for seeing me, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I think that when it comes to the type of stuff that you're doing, like letting someone know that they're being seen, and also kind of opening that door for people to know that like there are people out there that can see them for that. And like you were saying, like people don't say those types of things to each other. People, you touch those people. People are being touched by every single thing that you do. But like for you personally, like I think that you give a lot of people value. I know that like when I got asked and saw the other people that you talk to, I was just like, I don't know if I'm at that level with the rest of those people, but I appreciate that you are seeing me as a person. And when you kind of did your live with me, like it was like an opening up that I hadn't had with people.
Mm.
And a lot of times, like these conversations I have on Positive Talks, I really do see something in every person that goes live with me that maybe they don't see. And then if throughout the live they don't start to see that there's something special about them, I will start pointing those things out,
Yeah.
because I think that we need to keep like lighting people's fires, because I've seen so many beautiful people that used to post on YouTube, on Instagram, would do all these beautiful community events, and they just burn out because we do get a lot of negative stuff when we're doing these. And sometimes people forget like their words mean a lot. And so I try to like rekindle everyone's fire that I see not burning anymore, because we need everyone to be out there making a positive difference, because without it, like, darkness can win. Like, people will be overpowered by that negative stuff that's going out there. So seeing your lives, now that I've got an open schedule, I've been jumping on a lot of them, because I just enjoy the conversations that you have, and just seeing all the other things that other people are doing out there. And some of them don't even realize that it's special until you point it out. And that's so important for people, because I mean, your words and your ability to have a space for all of those people, it validates the words that come out of your mouth when you give it to someone. And I think that it's important for you to realize that, I mean, you're making a difference for anyone watching as well as every single person that's on your show, because like, you've chosen them, you've picked that person to be there. And even though some of us may come off with like that confidence, like, we've got this, we're doing this, a lot of us are doing it with so much doubt behind us. Like, we're like, it's got to be, this is my calling, right? This is what I should be doing. But like, you standing behind someone and saying like, what you're doing is creating a better world, like, it gives us that sense of like grounding, that a lot of us, we're just going out there blindly hoping that what we're doing is making a difference. But like, having someone out there just saying, hey, you are, like, that's special. Because I mean, people really care about you. Like, when they saw that you and I were going live, almost every single person that we have in common messaged me, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited about this. I saw lots of them popping up in the live. I saw people saying that they weren't going to be able to watch the whole thing, but they're going to watch it later. So like, all of those people, like, they care about what you do. And all the people that I know that have already done with you or know of you, like, they've all spoken so highly of you as a person. So when you reached out to me, I was just like, wow, something I'm doing is must be worth something, because he wouldn't be reaching out to me if he didn't see something that I'm doing as beneficial to the world. So
Oh, when you asked me to do your show, I like literally called my mom. I was like, Mama, I'm going to be on Positive Talk. And she was like, my mom's like, why? I was like, Mama, I'm positive. I was just so, everything you're saying, like, I'm trying to take a moment to just absorb it, because it's so important, I think, in life, to hear words that other people are saying. And, like, even as you were talking, I was catching myself trying to like bounce my thoughts, because I was thinking, oh, I'll send you a list of people who can't stand me. Oh, I'll send you, you know what I mean? And it's like, no, stop, Mark, and just sit and be in this moment, allowing this man to give you the love that you want to give out to others. And so thank you. Like, I'm going to go back and watch this, because a lot of my times hearing your I'm like bouncing my thoughts like, oh, he doesn't know about that. Oh, he did. It's like, okay, I take it, I absorb it, and I thank you for it.
yeah, I mean, we've all got our beautiful flaws that exist, but I mean, right from the first phone conversation that you and I had together, like, we talked for a good while, and
Oh, yeah.
I was just like blown away by how similar like our paths were. And like, I knew that we would be good friends, because the biggest struggle I have is like when people don't fully understand the struggles I have when it comes to the things that I'm up against doing the things that I do. Because a lot of times people think, oh, it's so easy. Like, all you do is hit start live and you just go. And I'm like, oh, I've got to mentally get myself in the right headspace every single day, despite whatever's going on in my life, because I know how important they are. And there are people that I've scheduled lives months in advance, and I'm excited about every single one when they come up. And I thought about letting this series come to an end as my job came to an end, but I was like, this is like my normal. Like, this is what I love. This was what got me through the day I found out that I didn't have a job anymore. So I was just like, let's just keep them going.
Yeah.
The world has endless amount of amazing people, and every single person I connect with, like, I've had people pop up in the comments saying they want to do a live, and I just message them afterwards. I'm like, what do you want to do it about? Let's talk, let's figure one out, and let's do it.
I love that. It's funny because I over the last few weeks, for some reason I've just had people like had to cancel, like, and they'll call me like the day before or like the day of and be like, sorry, I have to cancel. And I take it personally. I'm like, how do you tell someone the day before? Like, what is wrong with you? And then I have to stop and go, okay, listen, they have a life, things happen, shit happens, right?
Yeah.
And I'll get through those moments and I'll go, maybe I shouldn't do it anymore. No one cares about it. Everyone hates it. And then I take a moment and I like step back and I'm like, Mark, calm down. Like, you're good. One person canceled, not the end of the world. You get, and it's funny, every day that someone has canceled on me and I haven't done a show because I haven't been able to get someone so quickly or whatever. I'm going to start calling you, by the way, every time someone cancels, and you're just going to be on my show. FYI.
Let's go
Which
for
will
it.
probably be about 5 times a week, but not the point. But, and I just lost my train of thought. But every day that someone has canceled, something has happened that day outside of doing the show that required my attention in such a beautiful way. And I'm like, the universe just knows. It just knows. Mm-hmm. And I have to start trusting that and trusting the universe and trusting that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, I had one scheduled yesterday and it got canceled, and she's a beautiful friend and I can't wait to go live with her, but like, it's so important. I mean, my talks are called positive talks. I'm not going to get angry at someone because they have to cancel. I mean, that would destroy the vibe of the show and destroy the relationship I have with the people that are going live with me. But like, there have definitely been some like days that were just really rotten. And then like the live also got canceled and I was just like, oh, the world is just like coming to an end. But like,
it's like a personal attack on your character, and yet it's not. Like, I kind of like relate it to, hey, try my food. You're really going to like it. Like, you're at a restaurant and the person's like, I don't really like it. And you're like,
yeah.
It's not a personal attack on your character. You didn't make the food. You didn't like, but for some reason you're like, wait, why'd you cancel on me? Like, just talk to me while you brush your teeth. Like,
yeah.
But it is the way it is. And it's like, like you said, people think that it's just an easy, like, push play and then things happen, and it's not. It takes, let me tell you, scheduling people is not easy.
Yeah. And I mean, I've also had to tell people that want to hang out with me in real life, I'm sorry, but I've got a live scheduled at that time. Can't do it. Sorry, I'm not canceling something that I've scheduled months in advance.
Yeah.
But so like when it does get canceled, that's like what my brain goes to. It's like, oh, that sucks because like I canceled a lot of other plans to make sure.
I could have been going axe throwing right now, but now I'm not throwing an axe because,
But yeah, there have been plenty of times where people have said, hey, I can't do it. I'm like, you know what? Like, that sucks. I'm like, can we move it to a different time? Is there something else we can do to make this work? And if not, I'm like, you know what? That's me time now. Like, I'm going to take it and do like one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to call that person that wanted to go out on a date this day and see if they're still available, and I'm going to do it and just make the most of it, because unfortunately, that's out of the control. It's alive. It's not something that's pre-recorded and then posted whenever you scheduled it to be
Yeah.
posted. And that's one of the things. Like, I've taken posters down. I've seen you kind of put like the moved or postponed over
Oh no,
yours.
no, 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 no. I'm catty. I write canceled.
Canceled due to in the very small print.
Yeah. Canceled due to they just had a baby. I don't care if you just had a baby. You go live with me in that hospital.
Yeah, I mean, I like there are so many like nightmares when it comes to going live. Like if it's like, oh no, like the person not contacting you before you hit that live button. Like I'll sit there, I'm like, because I sent you the message, I'm like, ready to go? Like I'm sitting there waiting, and there's some people it's like 15 minutes after and they're like, hey, I'm ready. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Like I'm not going to go live if there's not a person sitting on the other
Right?
side. Because 15 minutes is a long time to sit there and try to
Three
keep
minutes is a
people.
long time. I don't know what the hell to say for 3 minutes. I'll sit there for 3 minutes and I'm like, oh God, this is awful. No one wants to hear me talk for 3 minutes.
I remember the one time, I think it was you were interviewing the person who played Aladdin in the Broadway show, and then Clayton jumped on to like kind of give you someone
Yeah.
to bounce stuff off of until your guest was
So
able to.
Adam,
I was just like, oh.
I almost killed Adam. I literally called him right after and I was like, Adam, you're the worst person in the world. I love you.
It's like Clayton definitely jumped in and was awesome, but like I've had those moments where I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna hit end and start back over and be like, hey, we just started this live 15 minutes because my brain goes, well, the people who watch it afterwards, like what are they gonna see?
Yeah.
So like all of that goes through my head, and I don't
100%.
really prep people before my lives because I want
No,
it to be as
you do
natural as
not.
possible. I
No,
just want it to
he
be
does not,
conversation.
everyone. Let me just put this to rest. No prep.
It's all live.
It literally is all live.
It's just like, is there something you want me to not mention? Is there something you'd like to focus on? That's about all that I give people. And like some people are like, can you send me a list of questions you plan on asking? And I'm like, nope. It's gonna be whatever the conversation brings up, because I don't like scripted conversations. I
No.
like it to be authentic.
Yeah. I mean, I know going into it some of the questions I want to ask, right? But I
Yeah.
don't tell them. And I love it. I love the reaction sometimes.
Yeah, I think that the world needs to see the authentic person. And like there have been people in my lives when I ask a question and they will literally say, you know, I've never thought about that before. And they'll sit there and give it a little bit of thought. And I'm like, this is great. Like to show that there are people out there that don't feel the need to just spit whatever comes out right off the bat, and just give them that moment to just think about that. And I mean, that I think is the most authentic way to create a conversation, to show people that these people are real people. These are authentic people answering with whatever is on their heart at that moment. And so far, I haven't had a bad live. And I think that all of them have gone way better than anyone ever thought they could be right before we start.
You're lucky. I had one, and I tell this person all the time that it was my worst live ever, because literally I was like, so like tell me about like da, 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 and they one word answers the whole time, and I was like, oh my gosh, and like halfway through the live I was like, I'm gonna ask you a question, and I need you to give me 35 words or more. Like what? And I was like, you're giving me one word answers the whole time. But
yeah. Those types of conversations can be rough. And I think that because my job is literally like, I do lives, I teach leadership seminars. Like I've gotten so used to, because my seminars when I'm teaching, like I ask questions that require an answer and I won't get anything. And I'll just sit there and I'm like, I've got all day. Like someone's going to give me an answer that's going to move us forward, or we'll sit here and I'll just smile on camera, because I'm not shy, and I'm okay with sitting here awkwardly cheesing at you all until someone says something.
Yeah. I fill every bit of silence with words. I'm like not good at that at all.
See, yeah,
Need to learn from you.
I had to learn that like silence just was an opportunity for them to think a little bit more, or for me to rephrase the question in a way that people understand it. But I've also gotten pretty good at like leading my questions. So like I'll give them a little bit of a like backstory about what I'm thinking, and then I'll give them the question at the
Yeah.
end. To where sometimes they're like, "What was the question again?" And I'm like, "I'll repeat that." But at least you were listening.
I'll repeat that, but sit back and get ready to answer my damn question.
35 words or more.
Yeah, exactly. And I want you to count them. I was like sitting there. I was like,
That's great. Oh,
I was going.
That was only 35 syllables. I said words.
Totally.
Well, I see that we have come to the hour, a little bit over. So I just want to say thank you so much for doing this. And I most definitely would love to continue to collab with you as frequently as possible, because everything that you're doing is exactly what I want to see more of in the world. I think that you're doing an amazing job, and we're not at competition. And I remember when you were starting our live out and you're like, I'm just doing this and you're better at it. I'm like, no, take it back. That's not true at all. Like, you have your unique, beautiful style, and it meant the world to me that you brought me on there. And I love the relationship that we're building, and seeing everything that you're doing just makes me know that there are more people out there doing it, and I'll be here cheering you on.
By the way, my mom just texted me like as this was going, and we all know, and she was like, marry this man.
Love it.
Calm down, mother. So she might be sliding into your DMs with a dowry. She might be like,
I love it.
Just to let you know, you get the house in Maui or something. I don't know.
Oh, goodness. That's great.
Well, thank you so much. I love you. I adore you. I love what you're doing, and I'm honored and I'm grateful that you had me on. And I'm sorry we brought the quotient way down for the guests. It can only go up from here.
No, I absolutely loved having you on here, and I'm excited to see where both of our paths take us in the future.
It's going to be fun. I promise that.
Awesome. Well, I will talk to you.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.